Mario Day happened yesterday. Everyone loves Mario Day. Who doesn't love that adorable red plumber? Well, we got a lot of news over the weekend, over the past few days, because of Mario Day. Now, naturally, I'm going to talk mostly about the Luigi's Mansion 2 HD news, because there's actually, not a lot was really said about Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, but, I'm starting to piece together how I think this game is going to work and the release and all of that, so I'm going to give some speculation on that, but I am also, of course, going to talk about all the other announcements that were announced over this past weekend, and even a little bit into what was, announced last week for Mario. There's a lot to talk about in this video, so I'm gonna get right on into it, so let's get started. So I'm actually going to start with about midweek last week. We actually got a really cool drop of a Princess Peach Showtime demo. It was a great way to get people to try the game, get their hands on it, and see how they felt about it, and it's a game that perfectly lent itself to a demo. Now, I actually did play it for the channel. If you haven't watched the video yet, haven't seen the video, click the little card up here, and you'll get to see me play Princess Peach Showtime, at least the demo. And personally, I did quite enjoy it. It's not something that I loved. It's not a game that's going to be for everyone, but I do think it's going to be a cute and charming game, but it'll be a little more on the simple side, not overly complicated. Though, with all the different collectibles that you can get, I do think that it is something that some fans are going to find enjoyment out of, especially fans of the character Princess Peach. Of course, this is something that stupid little bird... Something that stupid little bird had kind of leaked out, that we would get something like a demo for Princess Peach Showtime. So, we kind of all knew that it was going to happen, at least according to the leaker. That bird needs to be stopped. But, nevertheless, it was cool to see us get it, and it was cool to have it, come out. And I must say, I really like the visuals for this game. I like that it does seem that there's a lot of effort put into this game. And even if it's not the most complicated, complex game in the world, it does seem cute enough to have some good appeal and charm, and I do hope that people give it a shot. It does seem like a lot of people are complaining about how easy it is, but I do feel like we gotta keep in mind that the levels that they let us play were two of the earlier levels, I'm assuming, from, the earlier worlds. Again, I'm assuming, so naturally these levels are gonna be kind of easy. So I feel like people are jumping to conclusions about how difficult this game may be based on only 2 levels that we got to play. So, wait and see, I'm sure it's not going to be hard, but I'm sure it's not going to be such an easy walk in the park. Besides, on my playthrough, I didn't even get all of the collectibles. So, it's something that you're going to want to replay, to get your full value's worth. Next up, an actual pretty big surprise in my personal opinion, and that's the LEGO announcements. LEGO had announced a lot of different LEGO sets, new ones that are going to be coming up. Now, there were the basic ones, like there was a Bowser's Train one, there was a King Boo's Haunted House one, etc. Some pretty basic ones. I think there's one on Peach's Castle, stuff that we're used to. But there is a new LEGO set coming out, which is based on Mario Kart. Now, I'm assuming, honestly, that it's going to be a giant cart, that you could stick your Mario in or something. I'm not sure. I'm kind of thinking it might be on the scale of, what they did with, Bowser, the Question Block, Piranha Plant. It'll be something bigger, more intricate. I mean, because I don't know how they're going to do a LEGO set based on Mario Kart. Maybe they'll kind of do what they did with, the Luigi's Mansion LEGO set, where there's, a whole different, trail that you would take Luigi on, to do certain tasks. Maybe it's the same thing with the cart. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but that's coming out in 2025, so we still got a year to wait for that. So I am kind of intrigued because they announced it really early if it's coming out next year, and we don't even know what it is. I do think, like I said, I do think it's going to be a giant Mario Kart, but we'll have to wait and see. Then we go into the announcements from yesterday, and honestly, there were quite a few. Let's start with probably the smallest of the announcements, and that's the new games coming to the NSO service. Now, there are 3 Game Boy Color Mario games that are going to be added to the service, I think tomorrow from when this video comes out. Those are Dr. Mario, Mario Tennis, and Mario Golf. Again, all of them on the Game Boy Color. Now, I loved Mario Golf and Tennis on the GBA. I was kind of hoping they would be tied alongside with it, but I guess they did just announce a bunch of games for the expansion pack, so giving something to the base, level people it makes sense. But Mario Tennis and Mario Golf have the RPG modes that I really, really love. So I'll definitely be trying these out. I'll definitely pick it up, you know, or I'll not pick it up. They're going to be just added. But I'll definitely play them and, you know, have a little bit of fun with them. The one thing I'm curious about with these, now granted, I haven't looked into the service too much with this thing in particular, but Mario Tennis and Mario Golf had like N64 transfer pack capabilities, I think it was called, where you could transfer data from your Game Boy Color to your Nintendo 64. I know other games did this as well, like Pokemon Stadium, but with Pokemon Stadium, there's no Game Boy counterpart yet. But Mario Golf and Tennis do. So I wonder if they're going to enable any kind of transfer data, where you can take your characters from the Game Boy games and add them to the N64 games. I'm curious to see if they do that, if they find out a way to do that. I don't know, like I said, there could be another game already out on the service that utilizes the transfer function, but I'm not too sure if there is. If you guys know of any that are using it right now, let me know down in the comments down below. I'm really curious on that. And then Dr. Mario, of course, is a classic puzzle game. I don't have too much more to say on it. It's just Dr. Mario. It's self-explanatory. But yeah, those games coming to the service, I was hoping for the Game Boy Advance games as well, like, you know, the Mario Sports game on GBA, but I'm sure those will come at a later date. I'm happy with these for now. This next one is actually an interesting one in my opinion. I'm really intrigued to see what comes of this. And that is that Miyamoto announced that there is going to be a new Mario movie in development. Now, here's what I think is weird about this. Usually when you announce a movie, particularly a sequel to one that is already out, you would say, the sequel to this movie is now in production. That's usually the words you have for it. Heck, that's what Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, now granted this is a video game, but that's what Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was called for a while, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. So, I kind of assumed the language would be the same if it was a direct sequel to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but it doesn't have that language in it. The announcement, and you can look up the Twitter, at the tweet that they put out, it says that a new movie in the Super Mario Bros. Universe is going to be releasing in April of 2026. Well, firstly, that's still 2 years away, so we got some time to fester on it and learn more about it and figure out what this might be. But I am kind of thinking maybe they're not going to do a direct sequel to the Super Mario Bros. Movie right now, which is weird because of the fact that there's kind of the cliffhanger of the Yoshis. But what do I think it could be? Well, Luigi's Mansion, the movie, I think would just be sick. I mean, it wouldn't be, that could technically be viewed as a direct sequel because, like, if they're already living in the Mushroom Kingdom, King Boo captures Mario or something, like, I could see that, I could see that being a story. But it could actually also just link to the ending of the original Mario movie, because Mario movie ended, spoiler alert I guess, even though it's been a year, there was a Yoshi egg that hatched in the post-credits scene, and I think it's very possible that it could be a Yoshi movie, a movie all about the Yoshis. Maybe it'll be a prequel of sorts, where you see kind of how the Yoshis were and like what the Yoshis are doing. It'd be weird to have a movie all about the Yoshis though, because Yoshis pretty, generally don't talk. Even like in the games, like, even like Mario and Luigi, even though they don't talk, they at least, like, if you go into games, they have dialogue. Most Yoshis just say Yoshi. So I'm curious to see what they would do if it was a Yoshi movie. But people are also speculating on a Donkey Kong movie, because Nintendo does love Donkey Kong. They are doing a whole theme park based on Donkey Kong. So it would be interesting if they go the route of Donkey Kong, just because, we did see Donkey Kong played by Seth Rogen and Cranky Kong played by, I actually don't remember who played Cranky Kong, but nevertheless, it would be interesting to see more of the Kong Kingdom and more of the Kongs. We met Diddy, we met Dixie, there's a lot of other Kongs. There's Kiddy Kong, there's Swanky Kong, there's Candy Kong, there's lots of different Kongs that could actually make a Donkey Kong movie work. So I can see it being that as well. I mean, like I said, personally, I would love a Luigi's Mansion movie. Or they could do a movie where they're introducing a character that wasn't in the original Mario movie and set up for when the Mario movie sequel comes out, then whoever's in this other Mario project they'll be thrown into the sequel. That would be cool. Maybe a Wario movie, a movie about Wario and Waluigi's upbringing, you know, like if they're from the Mushroom Kingdom, or if they're from the real world, and how they get tangled up into things. Like, it would be really interesting to see what they do with this potential movie, and I am actually curious and interested to see what they end up doing for it. But we'll probably have to wait a little while on that one. Alright, let's get into the two big ones here. Paper Mario and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. We're going to start off with Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. This game officially got its release date. It was, oh shoot, it was May, I want to say it was May 26th. It was May 26th, 23rd. The date's on the screen, you know, this is when it's coming out. Now, honestly, I'm really interested in this game. Seeing the screenshots, we did see, you know, more screenshots, more gameplay, we got renders, we got quite a bit for this game. Even though the video that they released had no real trailer or anything, we did get quite a bit on the website, and it's looking really good. I mean, it does look like a really well done remake, remaster, whatever, of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. It looks so good. I mean, what more is there to really say on it? I haven't really played Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door since I was a kid. You know, it's been many, many years since I've played The Thousand Year Door. And I was wondering if I should replay it before getting the new one, you know, the remaster, remake, whatever. But I don't know. I'm really trying to debate that one. If I do, maybe I'll play it for the YouTube channel or for Twitch or something. I don't know. But either way, it does look good, and it did get confirmed to be $59.99, just like the GameStop listing said. So it is a full price title, but I think it looks really good. I think it's going to be a great title. I think lots of fans are going to buy it, and I'm really interested to see just how the game is received nowadays. Like, you know, like this is an RPG from like 2004. Like, you know, 20 years later, how does this game still hold up, even with its modernizations and its improvements? Like, how are fans, or not even fans, but just how is the gaming landscape going to take to this game? Because how this game is received could impact what happens in the future, you know, in terms of Paper Mario. Might let them go back to their roots a little bit, or if it doesn't do as well as they want, they might continue to stray away from it. They might continue to be like, okay, maybe this isn't where the future is. So keep your eye out on the review scores. I think this is going to be a very important one. If the Metacritic score is above what Origami King did, then I would say definitely look forward to more RPG, like proper RPG style Paper Mario games in the future. Alright, let's get to Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I've got a lot to say on this one, and funny enough, there's like literally nearly nothing shown of it, which I think is really, really weird. There's no trailer, no new gameplay footage, nothing. Nothing shown for this game at all. There is a new website up that gives a brief description, but it's incredibly vague. There's really no substance here, nothing new at all besides the release date being June 27th. The first thing I think is weird about this release date, Nintendo usually releases games on a Friday. Nintendo usually releases games on Fridays, but this is coming out on a Thursday, which I think is really freaking strange. June 27th is a Thursday, and I don't know, it's really kind of weird. Secondly, relating to the release date, kind of off topic, but Nintendo had to release, just had to release it on the weekend that not even the weekend, the day that I am flying out of America to the UK. I'm going to be on a plane that day. Nintendo, why? So for those of you who are wondering if I'll stream it, if I'll play it, I'll definitely stream it for the channel, but it won't be for a couple weeks after its release. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to play it on the plane, you know, like I'll play it on the plane, I'll play it on my own, do a video talking about what I think of the remake, you know, or remaster, sorry, and then after I'm back from the UK, I'll stream it and I'll play it, which I hope there's interest in watching that weeks after the game gets released. But I'm sure you guys will understand. Like, you know, there's nothing I could do. I'm going to be away. I'm not bringing my streaming equipment to England. When I'm on vacation, I'm in vacation mode. I'm not focusing on content creation. Like, I'll probably have some pre-planned videos made up. But nevertheless, it is coming out on June 27th, and we gotta look at the box art, and we gotta look at the box art for Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door as well. But let's talk about the Luigi's Mansion 2 HD box art. I really like it. I mean, this is the Japanese box art that we're seeing right now on screen, and it's the same as the 3DS box art, except obviously formatted for the Switch. Now, obviously, because like of how Luigi was holding the 3DS case, they replaced the 3DS bar with a door, as you can see here in the little comparison that I made. And I don't know, I really like this box art. It's really spooky, it's really creepy. The Luigi render, funny enough, is really not much different. I mean, you can tell there's more detail in the mustache, in the overalls. Like, there are slightly more details, but like, it's not that different of a render, nothing to really write home about. So yeah, like, there's not much to really go off here. But I do think there is one thing I did learn from this. Given that we know what the box art looks like, we know we have a website page for it, a buying it link, all this stuff, I think it basically can confirm that we're not going to get the first game with it. In the first game, I thought it was just made way too much sense to, it makes so much sense to have all 3 games, like the whole trilogy, on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's really silly that Nintendo didn't do that because of the fact that it is confirmed to be a full $60 title. And we've seen a lot of pushback with this one, People like Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, but I feel like the problem with it is that Luigi's Mansion 2 is still a pretty recent game. It is 10 years old, yes, or actually 11 years old now, but it's still like, from like Nintendo's last handheld console that many people still have. So many people like still have Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. They're still able to play it, and there's nothing new added to it, it seems. It's just an HD version of Luigi's Mansion 2. So I feel like it's not gonna entice a lot of people, and I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to sell that well. It'll probably sell 1 million units easy, but like, it's not, like, yes, Luigi's Mansion 3 sold, 13 million units? I don't think Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is going to sell even half that, maybe even a quarter that. Like, I can see it maybe topping 3 million, maybe, but for full price, full price title with no added extra features that we know of or that they're promoting here, it's just an HD version of Luigi's Mansion 2, I just don't see how they're going to sell this. And I think not having the original game bundled with it was a huge oversight, because not having all 3 of the Luigi's Mansion titles on the Switch, to me, is just a ludicrous move. Why would you only have 2 and 3, but not 1? Now, of course, they could be re-releasing Luigi's Mansion 1, but separately. They could do something different, like separate for Luigi's Mansion 1, which would be completely bogus. If they released Luigi's Mansion 1 HD for $60, oh, that's gonna rub my fur the wrong way. Like, if you're gonna sell these 2 games that are short and not that deep each for $60, and even not that, even if it's just Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, like, I feel like not a lot of people are going to buy into it at first. It does boast a lot of improvements, just given the fact that it's on the Switch. It's in HD. It has dual stick, it has dual stick controls, I'm sure there's going to be, tinkering with the controls. Maybe you could link the strobe bulb to the bumper, like in 3. And then, of course, with the graphics, like, the game, I think, looks really, really good. I know a lot of people, like, it seems like a mixed bag. Some people aren't a fan of the direction of the graphics, and I don't really get why. I get being upset that it's a full-priced title, but I think the game looks great. I think the game looks so much better than the 3DS because they added a lot more detail to the environments, It looks more detailed. It looks more real. It looks like a little more like an actual house and not just a cartoon from Scooby-Doo, So I think it looks great, and it'll control great, which, for me, especially being able to play in HD on my television, which makes it easier to play for streaming, because, as you guys know, for those of you who emulate, Citra, rest in peace, assuming they're going to shut down, has, Luigi's Mansion 2. You can play Luigi's Mansion 2 on Citra, but I've had lots of issues trying to run that game. So I don't think, I think this is the best way to have Luigi's Mansion 2, playable for people. So, I don't know. I do think it's going to be a tough sell for Nintendo, but I hope they can pull it off. I want to see another... listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Luigi's Mansion 2, but I want the game to do well. I want the best for the game because I want the Luigi's Mansion series as a whole to sell really well, so that we can get more installments, so that, we can, just get more games, So, that's all that we got for Mario Day. Now, that's actually quite a lot of stuff, especially for a slow year. That's actually quite a lot of stuff. So I'm really excited to see all the stuff unfold. No pun intended for Paper Mario. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you all have to say. And yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And until next time, you guys, I'll see you all in the next video.